Welcome back to the PID Control with Arduino lecture series. In this third lecture, we'll be going over the integral term of the PID controller, and we'll see how it mediates some of the flaws of the proportional controller. So in the last lecture, we went over proportional control and showed that in a closed-loop feedback system, the controller's main flaw was its inability to bring the steady-state error to zero. But now that we know we have this steady-state error, we need our controller to somehow act on it in a way that'll allow our control signal to accumulate until the desired set point is reached. This is easily achieved by taking the integral of the error. Let's add the integral term to our original controller to form a PI controller. But before seeing how this controller mediates the flaw of the proportional controller, let's see how the integral term responds to a step change in the set point. So let's say we suddenly step up our desired set point and thus cause a positive step change in the error. Now, since the integral term's job is to integrate this error signal over time, we're essentially taking the area under the curve of the signal. So in the case of a steady state error, the integral of this is a linear rise or slope. And we can see why this would eliminate the error. The control signal is either accumulating for a positive error or dissipating for a negative error. And it'll keep accumulating or dissipating the control signal until the error reaches zero. This is the main advantage of integral control, is that it allows us to eliminate the steady state error completely. Now by tuning the Ki term, we can adjust the control effort of our integral controller. Now in this case, for a high Ki value, we can see that we get a steeper slope, and this would make our control signal more aggressive. Let's take a look at the temperature control example from the previous video. You can see that I've added the integral term to our controller, but just to demonstrate how they perform individually, we'll turn on the integral control at time t. So as shown from the last lecture, the proportional control gets us closer to our desired temperature, but it doesn't eliminate the offset. Now turning on the integral control, we can see that the control signal accumulates and rises until the error is zero. We have now eliminated the offset and have finally reached our set point of 80 degrees. Now just like with proportional control, we can't just arbitrarily choose an integral constant. We'll go over PID tuning in a later video, but for now here's how the output behaves relatively upon varying the integral constant. If Ki is too low, we end up with a large rise time and overall a very slow response. This is bad when it comes to rejecting disturbances or constant changes in the set point. Now when incorporating a PID controller, the integral gain should be chosen such that the response looks like this. You can see we reached our set point much sooner with just a small amount of overshoot. But in an attempt to get a faster response, increasing this gain even further can lead to larger overshoots, and this should be avoided when trying to tune the PID controller. From the last lecture, we learned that the proportional controller provided us with a fast rise time, but with a steady state offset. The PI controller solves that using the integral control to reduce the error to zero. But what neither controller can solve is the large overshoots and ringing. In order to reduce or dampen this response, we'll need to add a controller that will quickly respond fast enough to keep the output from overshooting or undershooting the set point. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.